So, Lisa Barlow, you tell your son how to think. Why is that not surprising? Always trying to control everything, including other people's inner dialogue.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right, welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. Ooh, okay, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 10. This is going to be a quick review. I felt like this episode flew by. So we open, I don't remember whose house it was at, but they throw a party for Brittany, everybody but Meredith and Lisa Barlow. Because she was still really upset over what happened on the plane with Meredith. Meredith, girl. Meredith, you went off. But anyway, this scene was whatever. Here's my thing with Brittany. I'm sorry that you went through that on the plane. It sounds like it was bad, but it's hard for me to have sympathy for her when your daughter sat on national TV crying to you about how she felt like you had no interest in her or supported her. You were more into the men around you than your daughter. It's hard for me to have sympathy for a bitch when she don't even care about her kids like that. So for me, getting screamed at on the plane is just par for the course at this point. Meredith and Lisa Barlow were absolutely wrong, but Brittany, I believe in the universal balance, and I kind of feel like you were getting the credence that you deserved. Whatever. Anyway, at the party, they were talking about, Lisa and Meredith, and Whitney saying how she doesn't know how she's going to be able to be around them moving forward or how to deal with them. It's funny, you guys are just now figuring that out. Come on, you know who those two women are. That's the one thing I'll say about Lisa Barlow. She's been herself from day one, fake and plastic, no substance, no accountability from day one. She's good for some cringy sound bites and her very tone deaf type of attitude, but no. So next scene, we go see Lisa Barlow and her husband. They're out, I think, eating somewhere. This was a good scene. I like her husband, John. Basically, in this scene, he's trying to tell her, like, you don't listen, you overtalk, and you try to control. And then he calls her out for telling their younger son basically how to think. Well, I didn't tell him how to think. I was just telling him how I felt. No, it's manipulative suggestion, ma'am. It was interesting because everything that he was saying that you were doing in the scene, including cutting him off and not letting him speak and trying to overtalk him. And he was calling her out left, right, and center. And then he said something that was really interesting. He said that I feel like all we talk about is business. Really? I don't feel like that. He's like, you don't? Lisa Barlow, I think you need to invest more energy into the relationship with your husband and less with these group of ladies. Cause baby, y'all are not on the same page. That's not good. And John seems like he's a good dude. So why don't you invest in that and therapy? Because honey, you need it. And you know what's funny? So apparently she watches a lot of reviews on the TikTok, and comments on, of course, the ones that, speak favorably of her. We know she won't be commenting on none of my shit. I keep it real. I've defended you in a few episodes, even though I don't care for you. I'm still fair. But I really hope for your sake that you watch this season back with a different set of eyes and reflect on your behavior and your words and your decisions that you did throughout this season. Fuck everybody else. Look at you. Invest in the relationship with your husband and the people who actually care about you. You're not a bad person, and it's very obvious there's a lot of shit going on beneath the surface with you. But the way that you treat your friends and people that you so-called care about, it's not cute. It's not good. And you talk a lot of shit and you don't take responsibility or accountability for anything. And at your ripe old fucking age, because honey, we are the same age. I'm 44. I know you like 44 or 45. You need to get it together and grow the fuck up. And that's been my TED Talk. Thank you for attending. Anyway, so after that, we go to, I might be skipping a scene, but we go to Bronwyn and Todd. This is what I'm gonna say. So Bronwyn, there's been some allegations with Todd. So Todd apparently works 5 days a week and is not home. I didn't realize he was gone like that. Oh, he fucking somebody else. And Bronwyn, I hope you're getting some good dick on the side, because girl, it seems like you need it. And what's crazy is she seems like she is really devoted to her husband, as she should be. That's your husband, but it doesn't seem like it's a balanced relationship. Um, her and Todd have a conversation. They talk about what happened on the plane. Apparently, he was looking at some other girl's photo, and she tells him that she confided in Whitney. And of course, he got upset about that. I understand why he would get upset, because he's like, why are you confiding in these group of women who don't care about you or us? I get that, but Todd, you clearly signed up for this shit and you signed the appearance waiver because your face ain't blurred out. So please stop being brand new with us, the audience, and your wife. Come on now, bro. Come on. Bronwyn is, you could tell, is pushing for a open relationship or some type of arrangement. And I forgot to add, at the party at the beginning, they noticed Whitney called out that she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. So there's issues. There's problems there. And definitely in this next episode, we're going to get to see a little bit more of it. But basically, I felt like a whole lot wasn't resolved. And why is it whenever there's a scene, why is it, this is crooked. Sorry. Why is it that when there's scenes with Bronwyn and her husband, she's always crying and he's always sitting opposite her and he's never comforting? He comes off very cold to me and not warm. And Bronwyn, you can tell, needs a lot of warmth. Her mother's not very warm. And it's interesting because it's like you married your mom, but in male form. I don't know. Bronwyn, I hope you're getting good dick on this side. I really do, because girl, you deserve it and you need it, clearly. So I can't remember what scene was after that. Mary's church is reopening, so the ladies are all going to that. Mary's church has been closed down for 2 years. They've been doing renovations. She said it's the first time ever they've done renovations. She goes there with her son, Robert Jr. It's good to see Robert Jr. I like that they're sharing his addiction journey. She does reveal that before I even get to that, so they have a conversation. He talks about being in Malibu. I used to work at a drug rehabilitation center, by the way. Shout out to Tarzana Treatment Center. I worked there in my early 20s. I actually started working there at 19, and my film school was literally right next door. Crazy. Favorite job to this day. And I worked on TV shows and lived my dream. And my favorite job to this day was working at the rehab. I met a lot of great people there and I learned so much about drugs and sexuality. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. Anyway, so he was talking about being in Malibu. Malibu has a few rehabs, and one of the biggest ones there is Passages, and I'm pretty sure that's where he was at. It's a good one, beautiful facility, but they don't play around there. It was cool to hear him talk about his situation there. You could tell he still has a long way to go. We later find out that he had relapsed and wasn't attending the actual opening of the church or the, reveal of the renovation. I feel like I'm leaving a scene out before this. I might be. I'm rushing because I got to get to work. I got to get to work and I don't have time to do the review when I get home tonight. I got shit to do tonight after work. But I appreciate these scenes with her and her son, because a lot of people are going through addiction. A lot. I work at a car dealership. Everybody named mama on something. So it's nice to see someone his age being very transparent, especially with his mother. We need it. We need as much transparency right now in the world. We need it. So anyway, the ladies they get ready to go to this opening of Mary's church. It was funny when Mary first got there, the door was locked. Mary looked great, by the way, in that beautiful red dress. Fantastic. The other ladies show up outside and they're talking about, are Meredith and Lisa going to show up? Whitney, you're hilarious. She was like, I mean, if they do show up, they might melt in church. Isn't that what happens to whores in church? They get hot. That was funny. I just realized what scene I forgot. Brittany and that damn Jared. So real quick, Brittany and Jared meet up. He calls her out on hearing about the flirting with the guys on the yacht and the captain. he talks about how he needs consistency and stableness in their relationship. I'm starting to believe that she's the issue and it's not him. Because he was like, every time you always break up whenever things become uneasy. Brittany is immature for her age. She gives me arrested development. She really does. She doesn't know how to handle things. Even this scene, it was like he was being very direct with her about his feelings, and it just seemed like she was very avoiding. Brittany, you got a lot of growing up to do. You another one that need to go to therapy and grow the fuck up at your ripe ass age, doing too much. The shit with your daughter is infuriating to me. I don't even have kids, and I'm infuriated by that, big time. This scene just showed her lack of maturity. And my thing is too, I'm not gonna put it all on her because Jared, you ain't shit either, homie. You aren't either, and I feel like you're just here for the cameras. I don't know. It's a very dysfunctional relationship. Perhaps you two shouldn't be together. I don't know, but pitiful is the word that comes to mind. Pitiful. I was about to say Petty Floor. If you know who Petty Floor is from the Real Housewives of Melbourne, shout out to her. Anyway, and you. But so anyway, back to the church. So Meredith and Lisa do show up. And it was funny because Heather was like, I'm surprised you're here. And Lisa's like, you were surprised I'm here? You surprised I'm here? Hmm. So in the confessionals, they're talking to Lisa about different churches, and she's like, yeah, I support any church, even the Church of Satan, if they need something from Beta Tequila, oh yeah, that's fine. Why would you say that on national TV? You claim to be this Mormon and shit, and then you're like, well, yeah, so basically you admitted to doing business with the Church of Satan. Girl, shut up. And I don't care if you go to the Church of Satan, you go to the Church of Satan. That's your business. It has nothing to do with me. But I just thought it was such a conflict of interest. The irony that she calls herself Mormon, yet she doesn't do Mormon type things on the show. And she catches no hell for it. But Heather does and Whitney does. I find that very, very interesting. But anyway, so the ladies go in the church. Mary gets up there and does her thing. By the way, TLC has a documentary coming out about Mary's so-called cult. Listen, I love Mary on this show, but I've seen footage on YouTube and heard audio of Mary in church. She's off the chain. I could see how the cult thing could be real. And let's not forget, I don't know what season it was, if it was season 2 or 3 when they went with her to the church. And I think it was her birthday. And the members of the congregation were giving her presents or something. They're presenting them to her. And I'll never forget this shit. The one girl said, "You are a facsimile of God." I will never forget that. I was like, say what now? What? Anyway, the ladies had a good time in church. At one point, Lisa was talking about how hot she was. And Whitney was like, see, 2 whores in church. And the episode kind of ends there. This episode was a bit fillerish to me, but I think the biggest takeaways were the scene with Bronwyn and Todd, obviously Lisa and her husband, and Brittany and Jared. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what next week brings and the rest of this season brings. This has been a good season so far. I'm curious to see how the rest of it goes. Anyway, be nice to each other. Stay hydrated. Stay warm. Happy hump day. And I'm going to go return these videotapes.